Hello, YouTube. This is Old School from WhatTheBuck.net, coming to you live after day one of Buccaneer Training Camp 2010. A lot of excitement coming into camp. If you guys are following us on Twitter last night, Jason Lockenfora reported early. Donald Penn looked like he was coming to an agreement and was flying into Tampa, and Gerald McCoy been told to fly into Tampa as well. Both of those guys got their deals done today. I can't remember the specifics. I think Donald was a 6-year, $42 million with 20 and change up front, and I think Gerald was a 5-year, 50-something million, 56 million, with 35 million guaranteed. Not far off from what we had talked about 3 weeks ago, which is why I don't know why there's ever a damn mystery about what these contracts will be on the rookie side. With Donald, I'm very, very pleased. I'm glad he was in there. And not only did he get in, but he was actually out there in pads today, though I didn't see him take any reps. Now, for those of you who are local who want to come to camp, there's a couple things I'm going to point out about camp this year. It is at One Buck Place, right there next to the stadium. They told us in advance there are only going to be a small number of practices, which we already talked about. But they had talked about having 2 sets of stands. Now, last year they have 3 fields behind One Buck Place. They were on fields 1 and 3, and you kind of had to guess where they were going to be. Sometimes the guys would let you know what was going on, but you had to be a regular to really know what was going on. Everything now seems to happen primarily on field 1, but there are no second set of stands. It goes straight down the sideline. There's a VIP area right behind the training facility, and then there's seating in the end zone. There's a concession area in the corner. Then there's obviously a food court, et cetera, out front. It is Africa hot, folks. So if you're coming out there, be prepared to deal with the heat. Please do not do what these clowns are doing right now, which is constantly walk back and forth to the bathroom, to the concession stands, because it's a pain in the ass if you're trying to watch the action. But back to the action. You guys don't really care about the logistics. If you do, hit me up. I'll point some things out on WhatTheBuck.net as well. Big takeaways from today. The team is fast. Everybody looks fast. From the biggest to the smallest guy on the roster, the team speed is evident with everything that they do. The mood is different this year. There isn't the music playing. There's not the laughing, the jovial nature. People seem to be out there to work. Not quite Camp Gruden pace, but certainly better than what we saw last year. Now, it was light contact today, full pads, and the guys were going pretty hard. Now, sadly, on the offensive side of the ball, that didn't look very good. The offense that I saw, now this is one practice, the first public practice. Install is still going on. It's hard to really drive too much from this, but what I saw was what looked very much like the West Coast offense Coach Gruden had. I don't necessarily dislike that offense, but that's not what people are going to want to see. There are a lot of 3-step drops, a lot of slants, a lot of predictability. But again, this is early in the install. This could be just a vestige of that being the case. Now, the defense, I think, won in almost every case today, exception being maybe in the running game. But with it not being full contact, it's tough to tell. Some key takeaways that I noticed: Josh Freeman is still staring down his primary read. I don't like that. It is consistent, and it is predictable in our corners. If our corners can figure it out, the other corners can. The quarterbacks were not particularly accurate today. None of them. The 3 quarterbacks that were on the field were Josh Freeman, Josh Johnson, and Rudy Carpenter. Jevin Sneed was not out there. Joe Bucs fan reports that Jevin Sneed may have been released to make room for Gerald McCoy on the roster. I happen to think that would be a mistake. I think Rudy Carpenter looks like garbage. And if you're going to take someone in the 3rd quarterback spot, you might as well make him have some decent upside, which I think Sneed may have had. But no one asked me. The guy who stood out, 2 guys stood out. That's not true. 3 guys stood out. Kareem Huggins, once again, is becoming the next version of Ernest Graham in the preseason training camp. He looks great when he holds the ball. He's fast. He's got good vision. I'd love to see what he looks like with some preseason activity. And I'll tell you who's really helping out his cause is Clifton Smith. As much as we love Peanut, I saw 2 fumbles today, and it's light contact. I have no idea what's wrong with him, whether it's psychological or what. He looks shifty. He does good things, but if you're going to put the ball on the ground, you're not going to be able to carry it in any offense, let alone this offense. Brian Price is an animal. When I watched him, he was whipping everybody he faced. He was fast off the ball, and it's not just his lower body or his explosion. His arms are fast. His moves are quick. He was disrupting plays, and it was so good today that he actually made Roy Miller not look that good, and he had a great practice too. The defensive tackles that were out there today did very well, with the exception of Ryan Sims, who spent a lot of time on his ass today. The other person who flashed was Mike Williams. This is the guy coming into camp that all of the press people had said is going to turn heads, and he did. He opened it up with an amazing catch. I think it was on 7 and 7s down in the north end of the field. He did have a drop later after doing a sluggo route where he beat Rondé Barber. The ball was late in delivery from Josh Freeman, but he dropped it. There were a lot of drops today. The offense, not only in structure but in execution, looked bad. And again, this is the first practice. I don't want to seem overly critical, but I did not like what I saw out of that. There were some penalties as well, some false starts, some illegal procedures. Again, we'll see. Maybe it's just cobwebs. I think from a raw materials perspective, I'm excited. From a training camp experience perspective, it's hot. I wish people who came out there really came out there to see it and didn't come out there just to walk back and forth. If you come out, I recommend you sit high in the stands. I recommend you pick an end zone, whether it be the north end or the south end, because you're going to get more action on either end. And I recommend you hydrate yourself. Go ahead and get it, because they ran out of Gatorade. They ran out of water, because apparently it was a freaking mystery that it was going to be hot. So those are the updates. Hopefully tomorrow we'll get another update. I found out I can do this stuff on Ustream from my phone. I'll try and do that as well. I'll be posting an article on whatthebuck.net that details some of this, as well as some pictures from camp. Hopefully you guys like it. Make sure you rate it, drop some comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.